AITA for telling my sister her oldest stepkids are not welcome at parties / in my home again? NTA. Just because she's okay with how her stepkids treat her doesn't mean anybody else should have to deal with it. They clearly don't want to be there, so she can't force them, and can't force anyone to accept them. Info. What exactly is the timeline here, and how did your sister and her husband meet? Based off what you've said, they've been married for 10 years. Presumably Dad didn't jump right back into the dating pool for a bit after his first wife died, and since the absolute longest she could be dead is just under 12 years, that leaves 2 years for him to grieve, meet your sister, and get married again, all with a newborn baby. That's pretty damn fast. The oldest 2 children would have been 6 and 7 when they got married, and were probably 4 and 5 when their mother died. They probably don't even have solid memories of her, and in my experience, unless there's something else going on, children that young don't get that violently angry at their step-parents and hang on to a grudge for a decade. This all just doesn't add up. NTA. Those kids clearly need help, but that isn't the focus of this thread or your problem. Draw your boundaries. If those 2 don't get professional help and they want to continue blowing up everybody's life, I don't blame you at all for not wanting them near your family. Who openly invites a hand grenade with a pulled pin in their home? NTA, but Michael certainly is. Remarried before his wife's body is cold in the ground, no grief counseling, just this is your new mom and that's it. No wonder at all the kids hate her, and her husband set her up for it. Ladies, if you marry a guy before the last jug of milk his late wife bought has gone bad, his family probably isn't going to welcome you with open arms. At 16 and 17, they're nearly adults choosing to exclude themselves. It's their choice to not be part of your family, but you aren't obligated to put up with infinite nastiness on the hope they'll suddenly be not mad at your sister's existence. NTA. NTA. They're old enough to know better. That being said, there's obviously some serious issues going on with them, and their anger didn't just appear for no reason. I'm wondering what happened with the mom, but it's kind of irrelevant to this specific situation. They don't have a right to curse and be awful to little kids. NTA. The sooner Kyle and Ella find out their actions have consequences, the better. Maybe let them come one more time and say to their faces why they aren't welcome in your home any longer. In front of everybody too, since that's how they roll. NTA. These kids sound horrible. You do need to have them around you if they're that toxic. Keep supporting your sister, she doesn't deserve their shit. Telling a 3-year-old to fuck off? Jesus. I am going with NTA. You have to protect your children from this first and foremost. I am not sure what else they can do, but it sounds like these 2 will not give your sister a chance until it may be too late. From what you say, they are angry, and if they aren't willing to work with therapy, there is not much you, your sister, their father, or the rest of the family can do. Do they have contact with the mother's family? Can they help, or could they be part of the problem? NTA. But where is their father in all this? Children, and they are still children, should not get to act like that without consequences. They also don't get to disrespect step-parents. Just no. Michael needs to step up. Now. NTA. I can understand why Kyle and Ella are so mad, but the children didn't do anything to them. If they still want to be toxic, they should be toxic somewhere else. Your diction was 100% justified. OP. NTA. It may seem harsh, but you're right. The kids are probably not going to get over it at this point, and they're likely to just continue hurling abuse at your family. I'm going with NTA with the information presented. Those 2 need more than therapy, and the fact that they think it's not only okay, but all right to attack children, and small children at that, is a huge problem. Furthermore, it's your house, your rules. They think it's fine behaving this way in public, and what's more on special occasions. They may start to come around when they get older, but dear Lord, if they do they have a lot to make up for. Info: is your sister in denial? Has she got therapy? Because it seems obvious to me that these kids hate her and want nothing to do with her, and she seems to still desperately want to play at happy families, especially if she is dragging these kids who obviously want nothing to do with being a family with her to events. IDK, it just seems so sad. A bit obsessed with having a perfect family. It basically, have you guys tried to see if your sister is mentally okay? NTA. Your instincts are right, you need to protect your family. I feel for your sister, but if she thinks that her stepkids will ever grow out of this or come around and love her, she's living in denial. Their behavior has been consistent and they've made their feelings clear. They aren't really children acting out, they're nearly adult age. I think it's absolutely fine to leave them out of family events, and if that means Jess and Michael decide not to go either, that's their prerogative. You make it sound like your sister is blameless here, but she's an who forced herself on grieving children a few months after their mom's death. Why in the world have you given any kind of support to this nightmare scenario? Those kids have every reason to hate her. You're not the offer protecting your kids and banning them, you're an offer playing happy family and helping force the rest of your and cis family on them. They want to be banned, they were tired of this damn charade the moment it started. Based on the additional info in your replies. The teenagers suck because they're too old to be lashing out at younger children, and I don't blame you for wanting to protect your kids. You are an asshole for bearing a grudge against them for how they act toward your sister, who is an adult with power in their lives. Your sister and her husband messed up big time a decade ago by rushing into marriage without letting these kids deal with the trauma of losing their mother. They are reaping the fallout of that now. Forcing them into therapy with the goal of getting them to accept their stepmother is frankly disgusting, and I hope that's not what actually happened. They needed therapy to help them cope with losing their mother, not as behavior modification for the benefit of dad's new wife. They still need that, and it seems like they're unlikely to get it until they hit legal adulthood and move out. NTA, maybe the best thing for Kyle and Ella is to not be forced to have a relationship with the step family that they reject. They are clearly suffering. Whatever the strategy has been these last 10 years is clearly not working and has obviously done a lot of harm to these kids. I think your sister and her husband's efforts to force a familial bond between your family and these two despite their resistance are misguided, and have maybe sabotaged the possibility of them peacefully accepting your sister's relationship with their dad. These kids need some space and they need it 10 years ago. NTA. I understand where Jess is coming from, but you've made an effort and now their behavior is affecting your children. You're well within your rights here. Take the kids' advice and leave them the fuck alone. They didn't ask for a different family. Their father just happened to marry your sister, they obviously don't like it, so everybody should stop forcing them to try and accept your side as family. Marriage is just a piece of paper, doesn't make you family. What they consider family is their own flesh and blood. Leave the little fuckers alone, and everybody will be happier. Honestly, your sister and brother-in-law are fucked up. A few months after his wife died, he married again? Looks like you got a homewrecker in the family. I feel bad for the older kids and I hope when they are old enough they screw your sister over. Fucking disgusting on her part. You on the other hand NTA in any way, since you need to protect your kids and you don't have any obligation towards them, but remember, they are hurting because of how much of a witch your sister is and a deadbeat of a dad they have. The dad and your sister for marrying months after the death of the kid's mom and then selfishly burying their heads in the sand pretending they don't understand why the kids are all kinds of messed up now. The kids for being cruel to little kids. After reading comments, you are the least assholish but still a little for making the kids sounds like they're just unreasonable and evil rather than the children damaged by your sister's and her husband's choices that they are. That being said, you don't have to allow them into your home or around your kids.